Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Video Game Bunker. I am your man out of Japan, Jay Contra, and by surprisingly popular demand, I'm going to take you on a tour of my video game room, which is also my bedroom, and the entirety of the Jay Contra collection, which I will say for the purposes of this video, but it's probably wrong, I'm going to say is the biggest Japanese video game collection in the North Atlantic. Maybe, I don't know, probably not though, but it'll still be a lot of stuff. I'll be breaking this video up into multiple parts, starting with the battle station. If you have ever seen a stream of mine that takes place in the bunker, usually I am streaming from right here. This is a 1080p monitor that I bought back in college. If you want to know how, you could say cheap, but perhaps people would like to prefer to say frugal. I've been using this baby for like 10 years, and aside from a few speaker issues, it still works very well, although I will say it's maybe a bit too bright. I then have over to the side, I have a tiny CRT that I use to play all of my retro games. I've got the Elgato HD. This is the real workhorse of the entirety of my channel. I've been using this, I think I bought it in like 2012. Actually, yeah, let me unplug it and show you. The only downside of this is that it only records 60 frames per second at 720p instead of 1080, so it's not like the newer fancy ones, but I also don't want to have to pay $200 for a slight upgrade in terms of visual quality. And also this one works directly with retro games because it comes with like a component adapter and an S-video adapter, so I find that that's the one that I like to use. And then I also have a splitter in my closet that I use to where, especially when I'm recording retro games, I can watch the game on here via one channel, and then on another channel I can have it go to the capture card, which then plugs into my computer. And then my tower's, actually, it is on the screen. Yeah, my tower's right here. That's the computer that I built a couple years ago. And then over on the side, I have my, what I've been playing right now for some super secret projects are my PlayStation 4 Pro. Oh, and this actually, this is the big one. This is the Kingdom Hearts 3 edition PlayStation 4 Pro. I bought this the day that Kingdom Hearts 3 came out in Japan because I was a maniac and I freaking love Kingdom Hearts so much. So that's why I picked it up, because I thought it was a cool design. And I wanted the PS4 Pro. And then here's the Switch, which is plugged into the adapter that's very far away. So this is, I've been playing some stuff on some Switch and the PS4 as well. Let me put those aside. And then you will notice over here, so if you want some insight into Jay Contra lore, back when I was in high school and in college, I was obsessed with like just history in general, but also Napoleon. And when I was in high school, I went to this like garden center. Actually, let me pull it over here just to make it. So I went to this weird garden center, which like they had all this like statuary. I mean, it's I don't know what it is. Like probably isn't even ceramic. But they had all these different like busts and statues of different things, and for some reason they had this for like $20, and I was like, I need that in my life. That was probably like, Jesus, 15 years ago. So I have that here, and then I think I put it on this little column here. I actually have multiple statues, so I won't show my my dresser, but as a graduation present, I can't remember if it was college or high school, my dad got me this little statue, I guess it's bronze, of Napoleon crossing the Alps. So that's over on my dresser. So moving along, we'll go away from the battle station, and then this is the like half of the, well, probably really a third of the collection. So underneath my bed, I've talked about this in the past. There's some eBay packing materials over here, by the way, and some boxes that I use to sell stuff on eBay. So this is all of the stuff that I keep underneath my bed. I have these giant, I found these at like Costco, these giant Tupperwares. Are Tupperware still a thing? I'm not sure, but they're giant bins that I use to store my collection. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over what each of these bins contains, and I don't know if there's any stories about any of these things. Maybe that'll be interesting. Let's start closest with the camera here. So this here is all my Amiibos that I decided to keep. So I went pretty Amiibo crazy when I was back in Japan. So I bought pretty much like all of the Smash Brothers Amiibos. I would not do that again. It was a problem. But I sold a lot of them on eBay, and surprisingly, a lot of the Amiibos either held their value or are now more valuable loose than they were sold new. So I guess I was lucky that way. But I kept all like my Fire Emblem Amiibos. Oh, the camera's over there. So I've got like Raflet and Luciner, as I like to call her. And I got Marth, of course. And I also kept all like the characters that I like from Smash. Like I really like playing as Bowser Jr., so I kept my Bowser Jr. Amiibo. And then, I mean, this is my Smash main, is Weege. And then I've got, actually on one of my shelves, I've got my two Prime Amiibos are my Link from Majora's Mask. He's got the Goron mask, and then my Bayonetta 1 Amiibo. I used to have a Bayonetta 2 Amiibo, but I don't know where it went. I think it got lost when I shipped everything back. So there's that bin. This bin is like miscellaneous video game stuff. Oh yeah, this is my Mario Kart 64 pen case that I had in like the 4th grade. I can't believe I kept this. So I ended up like, I found this in like my parents' basement. So I ended up holding onto this. I got a bunch of like action figures in here. Oh, here's my like complete set of Mother Gacha. Back when I was in like 2016 or 2017, there was like Mother and Mother 2 had like some Gachapon sets come out. So they had these keychains. So I've got a couple sets of those. Ended up blowing a few bucks on those. Yeah, here's another one. There's that. I've got some figures. Oh yeah, I remember when I graduated high school, they came out with like not Sega, Square Fig Arts came out with this really bitchin' Judge. I know he's got a name. He's like the twin of the dude. It's been like 10, 15 years since I played Final Fantasy 12, but I love the Judge designs from that game. And then I've got like this Sailor Moon like sweat wiper that I got from when there was a Sailor Moon cafe in Fukuoka that I visited. I don't know why I have that or why I kept on to that. So yeah, all right, it's just a bunch of video game related merchandise in there. We'll do the back ones later. So here's another, this is my Game Boy cartridge set. Can someone please recommend to me a good way of storing loose Game Boy cartridges? Because I found this at like Hobby Lobby and it's still honestly not good enough for holding all of these things. In here, we've got a mix of like Japanese and English because you can play them on the same console. So I've got this is my OG copy of Silver that I got when I was, well, I mean, whenever it first came out. So I guess I would have been 11. I can't remember what grade I was in at the time. Zelda, Oracle of Ages and Seasons. Those are the ones I had when I was a kid. I played the shit out of those. Got some Japanese stuff, like here's Contra for the Game Boy, which I think they just took Super Contra and put it onto a cartridge, more or less, and made it 8-bit. Soul Striker, actually, Soul Striker, people don't often talk about shooters, or scrolling shooters on the Game Boy, but there's actually a few of them. Soul Striker being one of the good ones, and actually a Nintendo joint. I think Nintendo made this. Oh, and here is another big one. Here's my copy of Pokemon Red. Pretty sure I was in the 4th grade when I got this. Yeah, whenever I was, because I was reading Nintendo Power at the time, so I was a huge Nintendo mark when I was a kid. So I've still got all my Game Boy games. I might be missing a couple. I can't find a couple of my Game Boy games actually. And so I tried another storage solution I tried for Game Boy cartridges was this. I think they're meant to hold pictures. I also got these at Hobby Lobby, but they're also not very good, as I've discovered. Maybe good for like, here's all my American Game Boy Advance games. You can see there's Advance Wars, is that Final Fantasy 1 and 2? There's Pac-Man, one of my 2 Neo Geo Pocket games. Was that Final Fantasy Tactics? Yeah, Metroid Prime, or no, Metroid Fusion, excuse me. Then I also have a bunch of Game Gear games. You can see here, there's some Sonic and was that Castle of Illusion? Yeah, Castle of Illusion, a bunch of Game Gear games, but the problem is that all my Game Gears stopped working. So, because you got to replace the capacitors on those bad boys, and they are tiny, tiny capacitors. So very bad, very difficult, very difficult to deal with. So then let's maybe even go in a little bit closer. You can see here, I've got all of my loose Famicom cartridges. These are some of these are valuable, some of these are not. Let me get my head down here. So like the valuable ones I keep in, I think they're retro game protection cases. They're these little acrylic boxes that you can get. Like I think like one of these is like 50 cents when you're even cheaper when you buy them in bulk. So like here's Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers 2. I've got a, you know, I've shown most of my Famicom games on the channel before. The big one, the prize one, is of course, where is it? Is of course the cartridge of the Famicom Castlevania, which is very difficult to find in Japan because it was a later release. I then have a bunch of Famicom disc games, like here's the OG Legend of Zelda, which of course first came out on a disc and then would later come out on a cartridge. That's green. But for some reason, is that it? No, all right, it's in here. So it's a green one. It's in here somewhere. Then I also have. Oh, did you know that Mario 2 was actually Doki Doki Panic? Yes. Yeah, there it is. Oh, and honestly, I do not recommend playing the Japanese version of Link's Adventure Zelda 2 because when you play it on the Famicom disk system, it has to load the disc every time you go in or out of a town or in and out of a dungeon, which puts a lot of wear on the replacement belts, and the replacement belts are slip very easily. At least mine does. Oh, and then here's the one loose PC Engine game that I have, which is Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition. Is it Championship Edition? I don't know. Street Fighter 2 Dash, I think is what it's called. I have no idea what its actual name is. Then, so we go above from the Famicom cartridges and the Famicom disc games, the one PC Engine game that I have, to the cartridges for the Super Famicom. You can see here I've got like Yoshi's Island, and pull like, let's do 3. Rockman X, and then what's the big number 3 gonna be? It's gonna be Gundam F91, a sort of Gundam's Tactics game that I played a while ago. We then move from the Super Famicom up to the Nintendo 64, which I've talked about on the channel before, but I have every N64 game that was released in Japan, unless you count the Rumble Pack version of Wave Race, which I do not. I count that as a ROM variant. So yes, I do have every, and the 64 DD games. I don't have those because I'm not a millionaire. But so I've got those. Those actually, I got a bunch on the shelf, and I've got a bunch of, all of these, I have the boxes up on a shelf, which I'll get to probably in a separate video. But here are some of the cartridges. Like here's Pokemon Snap. It's even still got the book off label on it. That's I bought this for apparently $2. I do love the Pokemon Snap box though. I think I probably will get rid of this and get the one that's in a box because it looks like a box of film that they used to sell in Japan. Oh, that would be so cool to have. And it's still very cheap. Pokemon Snap, the OG one, is still cheap in Japan. That was Top Gear. Got a bunch of like racing games. Like here's Top Gear Rally. There's another Top Gear game in here as well. Here's like Choto Q. That was a big one in Japan. Or is this? Oh, this is Choto Q2. This was exclusive to Japan. And then we've also got, oh, here's Dobutsu no Mori. Here's the OG Animal Crossing, which came out on the N64 first before it ended up coming out on the GameCube. So I can see I've already gone more than 10 minutes, so I need to take a little break. I'm actually surprised it took that long to get here because we still got all of this crap left on my bed that I have to explain. So I hope you'll join me in the next video where I talk about what I will be calling the ultimate Japanese collection game room tour or whatever. I've been your man out of Japan, Jay Contra. Thanks for watching and mahalo.